Back in 2014, the NBA landscape was changed forever on a fateful August night.
Throws a little bit too fast for his own good.
The air was thick with disbelief as the world witnessed a gruesome injury that sent shockwaves through the league.
I'm one of those squeamish. Every time you guys show it, I'm looking away. In 20-something years of covering the NBA, I've never seen a worse injury with my own eyes.
Kyrie Irving, as tough as he is, found himself in a moment of vulnerability, shedding tears in his father's arms. Meanwhile, heavyweights like Kevin Durant and Derrick stood frozen. They couldn't comprehend the gravity of the moment. Most players would have called it quits right there and then and faded into the shadows. But not this dude. In the current NBA scene, the Clippers are riding high, fueled by the firepower of James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George, a player whose journey from the brink of career-ending disaster is nothing short of legendary. This is the untold story of Paul George's incredible resurrection. Back in March 2010, Paul George shook things up, announcing he was ditching college and driving straight into the 2010 NBA draft. The Indiana Pacers took notice, selecting him as the 10th pick. This made him the highest draft pick in Fresno State history, but that was just the beginning of the PG-13 era. His rookie season stats might not have blown everyone away, but you could see the spark. George averaged 7.8 points, 3.7 rebounds, and shot an impressive 45%. His defensive prowess was on full display, leading the Pacers in steals per minute. Year 2, and George was hot. He participated in the Slam Dunk Contest and Rising Stars Challenge during the 2012 NBA All-Star Weekend. And in that dunk contest, he unleashed a 360 windmill dunk in the dark.
Okay.
He also dunked over teammates Dante Jones and Roy Hibbert.
Oh my goodness!
He had the flair and the style, but Jeremy Evans took home the trophy. The lockout-shortened 2011-12 season was George's proving ground. Averaging 12.1 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.4 assists on 44% shooting, he started every single game for the Pacers. Playoffs came around, and after taking down the Magic in 5, the Pacers faced the Heat. A valiant effort, but they bowed out 4-2 in the Eastern Conference semifinals to the eventual champs. In his first 2 NBA seasons, George was tearing it up as a shooting guard. But fate had other plans. With Danny Granger sidelined due to knee and calf injuries, PG-13 found himself donning the small forward cap in his 3rd season. And he embraced it like a champ. George became the go-to guy for the Pacers, posting career highs across the board, 17.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 4.1 assists. At the end of that season, he clinched the NBA Most Improved Player title. The Indiana Pacers made history, starting the 2013-14 season with a jaw-dropping 9-0 record, a franchise first. Leading the charge was Paul George. The team had fans on the edge of their seats, reminiscent of the Dallas Mavericks' feat back in 2002-03. The Pacers wrapped up the regular season with an impressive 56-26 record. The playoffs rolled around, and the Pacers were a force to be reckoned with. They bulldozed through the Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards in the first 2 rounds. George dropped a playoff career high of 39 points in a game against the Wizards, but as fate would have it, they met their arch nemesis, the Miami Heat, in the Eastern Conference Finals, bowing out for the 3rd straight year. The unforeseen turn. Then came the offseason of 2014, and Paul George's trajectory was poised for even greater heights. Named to the U.S. national team's training camp roster for the 2014 FIBA Basketball World Cup, everything seemed on track. Until that fateful scrimmage. A routine block attempt against James Harden turned into a nightmare. In a split second, everything changed. Paul George, midair, went crashing into the base of a basketball stanchion, his leg buckling at an unimaginable ankle. The sound, the sight, it was one of the most gruesome injuries ever witnessed on the court. A career hung in the balance as his fibula and tibia snapped under the weight of the fall.
You have like metal in that leg now, right?
Yeah, I got a rod. I got a whole titanium rod in my right leg with 2 screws.
The aftermath was heart-wrenching, the scene was surreal, and as George was carried off on a stretcher, the NBA community collectively held its breath. In the age of instant information, the news spread like wildfire across social media. Within seconds, the world knew the gravity of the situation. Speculations about George's future in the game filled the virtual airwaves. Would it be a career ender, or could he bounce back?
I really felt good about where I was at leading up to it. Then I get hurt, and then just the emotions of the unknown. Like, will I ever play again? Will I be the same again? Like, will this team be the same team I'm coming back to? It was just a lot that was going on.
Amidst the chaos, fellow players took to Twitter to express their shock and solidarity. KD, in a heartfelt tweet, wrote, "God bless you, my brother. At PaulGeorge24, I'm hurt, praying for you, praying for peace, praying that God heals you in a supernatural way." Harden, ever the optimist, sent his wishes for a speedy recovery, saying, "Speedy recovery for my guy PG, praying for you and the fam. The comeback is going to be crazy." LeBron also expressed his shock and support, stating, "Man just landed and got a message about you at PaulGeorge24. Made me immediately sick to my stomach. Praying for you, a speedy recovery, homie." Amidst the turmoil, hope emerged. George underwent a successful surgery later that night, and the journey to recovery had just begun. Rehab. After that gut-wrenching injury, Paul George didn't back down. He hit the rehab grind with everything he had. The hard work paid off. Many thought George would be sidelined for the entire 2014-15 season after that gruesome injury. However, he defied expectations. In his first game back, he dropped 13 points, 2 rebounds, and dished out 2 assists in just 15 minutes of action. He played 6 games towards the end of the campaign, averaging 8.8 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 1 assist in just over 15 minutes per game. Shooting at 36.7% from the field, 40.9% from beyond the arc, and 72.7% from the free throw line, the man was making a statement with every play. Heading into the 2015-16 season, there were whispers and doubts about what Paul George could bring to the table. Was he destined to be a role player? But PG had other plans. He shattered expectations, averaging 23.1 points per game for the Pacers and securing his spot on the All-Star team. The doubters were silenced as George roared back onto the scene, possibly even better than before. The following season was no different. George continued his stellar performance, averaging 23.7 points per game and earning another spot in the All-Star lineup. But, as fate would have it, the Pacers' journey with PG-13 was about to take an unexpected turn. Despite George's resurgence, the 2016-17 season marked the end of his tenure with the Indiana Pacers. After the 2017 playoffs, George dropped a bombshell on the Pacers management. He said he wouldn't re-sign with the franchise as an unrestricted agent in 2018. In a surprising twist, the Indiana Pacers traded Paul George to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Rumors swirled about George's preferred destinations, the Lakers or the Clippers, but the Pacers had other plans. The All-Star wasn't calling the shots as he found himself donning a Thunder jersey, setting the stage for a new chapter in his career. The 2017-18 season saw Paul George sharing the court with Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. The trio had its moments. Despite George's impressive 21.9 points per game, OKC faced an early exit in the 2018 playoffs. They bid farewell to Anthony just after one season. Following their playoff disappointment, speculation ran rampant that George would make a move, likely to the Lakers or the Clippers. But then came the shocker. He stunned the world by re-signing with the Thunder on a massive 4-year, $136.9 million maximum contract, with a player option for the 4th year. It was a comeback story, defying the doubters who never thought he'd see max money again post-2014 injury. The 2018-19 season witnessed a rejuvenated Paul George playing at an MVP level. Averaging a staggering 28 points per game, he was on a tear until shoulder issues hampered his performance towards the end of the campaign. The Thunder's journey in the playoffs ended with a loss to Damian Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round. Game 5 of that playoff series marked the end of an era for George and Russell Westbrook in OKC. In the summer of 2019, the Thunder orchestrated a massive trade. They sent Westbrook to the Houston Rockets and George to the Los Angeles Clippers. But it was the 2-time Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard who recruited Paul George to the Clippers, convincing him to request a trade from the Thunder. It was a move that not only reunited 2 formidable talents, but also brought PG-13 back to his roots, playing for the Clippers. Paul George's homecoming with the Clippers hasn't been all smooth sailing, though. Despite an impressive resume with 8 All-Star appearances, 6 All-NBA nods, and 4 All-Defensive Team selections, injuries have been a persistent roadblock. George was limited to fewer than 54 games in a single season. He also missed the 2023 postseason, leaving many questioning his full potential. But here comes the turning point. The 2023-24 season has brought a shift in fortunes for the Clippers. Stacked with talent, they stand as legitimate contenders. Paul George is contributing with an average of 23.8 points and 5.5 rebounds. Not bad at all for someone written off by some as a fading star in the NBA. George's career stats boast an impressive 20.8 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. Now at 33, he finds himself in a prime position to chase his first NBA championship. Teaming up with stars like Kawhi, Harden, and Russ, the Clippers have assembled a powerhouse roster. It's a remarkable transformation from doubts about George's future to the brink of championship glory.